Hi everybody, Gary Williams here for Toolbarn.com's Barn Banter. And you know, when you think about innovation and technology, you usually equate that with power tools. And that is of course certainly true, but there's a lot of innovation and technology going on in the hand tool market as well. And we're going to show you some of that today. For example, we've got the KT Pro Bust-A-Bolt, and this is a really interesting tool that'll help you take care of a lot of things that you need to take care of. For example, getting lug nuts off your tires when they've been rusted or corroded on. A lot of other things around the house, so that's really worth looking at. Then we're going to talk to Chris from Irwin, and he's going to talk to us about vice grips and pliers. And you might not think there's a lot going on in that arena, but there really is, and it's really kind of fun and interesting to talk about. But first, we're going to talk about a couple of major tool manufacturers. You've heard of them before, trust me, you have, who are trying their hand at the hand tool game, so stay with us. You know, everybody knows DeWalt and Milwaukee for their power tools, and there's a good reason for that. These are very good tools, right? However, both companies are now getting into the hand tool market, and they're bringing innovation and technology to those kinds of things as well, and in various ways. For example, this is it looks like a simple screwdriver set from DeWalt, but there are some things that make this kind of special. The screwdrivers are all color-coded based on the type of screwdriver it is, so if you've got these stuffed into a tool bag or a toolbox somewhere or on your workbench, you can pick out whether if you need a Phillips screwdriver or a flathead or whatever. You can find it in a hurry just by checking the color code. So that's kind of a nice feature. They're also magnetized so that, you know, if you're like me, I tend to drop nuts and bolts and screws all over the place. So it's kind of handy to be able to have that extra little feature there when you're working. We've got a set of tools from Milwaukee also, and this is kind of interesting. These are nut drivers, and one thing that's kind of interesting about these things is that the shaft on these is hollow. So let's say that you're working on with a threaded rod hanging from the ceiling and you want to screw a nut onto it. What you can do is you just run these things up that threaded rod. You have the nut, of course, inside the driver, and you tighten it as you go up, and it's just a lot easier to do it that way than it is to use a traditional wrench and, you know, make a turn, take it off, make a turn, take it off, etc., etc., etc. That's kind of a long, drawn-out process. So just a nice little feature that makes life a little easier, and that's kind of what technology is doing when it comes to hand tools. It's making the job just a little easier, even if it just looks like a simple screwdriver. Now, the nice thing about all these products is that they're guaranteed for life. And that's something you won't get with a lot of other, for example, store brands or other brands of tools. So take care of these. They're worth spending a little bit more money. They'll last you forever. And the nice thing is, if they don't, they're guaranteed forever. So anyway, thanks. Let me give you a situation I know you've been in. You've got a flat tire, you need to get that tire off, and the first thing you do is you grab your lug wrench and you start trying to break those lug nuts free, and well, they just won't go anywhere. We've all been there, right? They're corroded or rusted onto the wheel, and it's a pain in the neck to get that off if you can, and sometimes you gotta call for help, right? A lot of times what you do is you'll grab a piece of pipe and you'll slide the lug wrench inside of that and use the pipe as a cheater bar to try to get a little more leverage and break that thing free. But that's got its own set of problems. You know, that's not a very secure way to do things. You can kind of damage your tools. These things can come flying off and smack you in the face if you're not careful. I mean, there's just a lot of reasons really not to use a pipe as a cheater bar. So what do you do? Well, we've got a solution for you, and it's the KT Pro Bust-A-Bolt, and this thing is made just for loosening stubborn nuts and bolts. I'll tell you, it's a great tool. It's very lightweight. It's got a reversible ratchet, and obviously you put a socket on the end of whatever you're trying to work on, but this thing will slide in and lock at various depths, so you can get a little more leverage if you need it. It's got a solid metal bar that can give you even a little bit more leverage and a little bit more torque to get a stubborn nut or a bolt loose. Again, half-inch socket fitting, so it's really a good tool. It's very solidly made, it's lightweight, it's easy to use, and it's really a nice thing to keep things just a little bit safer and more efficient when you're trying to break those stubborn nuts and bolts free. KT Pro is one of our newer lines at Toolbarn.com. They've got a lot of great ratchet and socket types of tool sets, so check out the Bust-A-Bolt and other KT Pro products at Toolbarn.com. You all know what these are. These are what are commonly known as vice grips. Actually, there are a lot of tools that look like this. They're locking pliers, and a lot of them are called vice grips, but they're not. There's really only one vice grips, and those are the ones made by Irwin. And with us here today is a representative from Irwin, Chris Kairos. And Chris, I know you have vice grips, of course, but you've got a lot of other pliers types of tools there. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, Gary, thanks. These are actually a sub-brand of Irwin called Vice Grip.
Right.
And they're traditionally known, like you said, for the locking pliers that you're holding. But we offer everything from channel pliers to our new line of traditional pliers as well.
Mm-hmm. So with the channel pliers, I know, well, with all of your pliers, you have a process that is conducted on all of them to harden the material and to give them just a little bit better function. Can you explain that just a little?
Well, for example, on these, you have that bimetal toothing on the front of the jaw.
Right.
And this is actually a harder metal than the outside metal.
Okay.
This actually helps with the gripping power as well. But if you're looking down here, well, you can talk about the case hardening process that we use on these new German pliers that we just came out with as well, which is going to give you a sharper edge and make you rust resistant.
So you've got a situation of longevity because of the hardening process, but also functionality. It's not just a cosmetic or a fun little thing. It's something that's really functional for users. Well, you know, we're going to demo some of your cutters here.
Please.
And we're going to, first of all, take a well-known competitor brand, which will be...
And you're actually cutting some piano wire right now, which is one of the highest tensile strength wires out there. This is just a good demo to show you exactly how well our cutting pliers actually work.
Yeah, now this cut, I had to use a couple hands, but yeah, you know, that was a lot easier, actually. I could actually cut that whole piece of piano wire down to size if I had to.
For sure.
No, that's great. Well, so you've got a variety of them. I know one thing you've got here that I just want to bring up real quickly here. These things look, they look a little like
a duck.
Like a duck. I was just gonna, or something out of that movie Alien.
Okay.
You know, one of those. No, but so what's the advantage of having a pair of needle nose pliers?
So these are a 62-degree angle multi-plier.
Okay.
And what they do is they're going to reduce strain in your wrist by 63%. We're going to bring your wrist back to a neutral position, so you're not bent down or upwards in an awkward position while working.
Regular working position, and that gives your grip a little bit of a break. And
exactly.
Excellent.
Exactly.
Okay, great. Well, look, there's a lot more to talk about when it comes to Vice Grip and Irwin pliers. We're going to continue that discussion online with some bonus material, so check that out. And also check out Toolbarn.com for these and a lot of other tools that you will enjoy buying and using. So, thanks for being with us today. We hope to see you next time.